Welcome to another Demarcation Media Blokees review. Today we have Transformers 1 Wave 2, aka Galaxy version 07. I was not expecting a Transformers 1 Wave 2, but I am very pleased to see the roster of characters being filled out a bit more. Huge thank you to Blokees for sending these along for review. They did provide it, but that does not affect what I say at all because you cannot buy good reviews on this channel. So this is what it would look like if you found it in a store. The box designs are amazing. I always love Blokees graphic design, and this is no exception. All of the individual boxes come pre-wrapped. That's a little strange to me. Maybe that's to prevent theft if you were to find it in store, but the design here is pretty cool. You got Megatron and B, and then you got all of the characters on the one side. So this will have been built live. If you want to see the replay of that, I will put a card up in the corner and we will come back as soon as these are all put together. There are all the figures put together, and I have to say, this build process was nothing like previous Galaxy versions. There was so many differences. One of the major differences when you first open the box is that there are no stands, as you can see. I personally am very happy about that because the stands were something that you just don't really need. The Blokees feet are big enough to make them easy to display, and I just have a lot of the stands now that I don't know what to do with. And we also get the character cards, which are character cards now instead of just little discs. These actually look really great. I feel like they're way more collectible. They're very shiny. We get one for each character, which is absolutely fantastic. I like these a lot. And then on the back, they just have a little thing with the name and then a little QR code for the Facebooks if you want to go ahead and scan that. So yeah, that's the differences right out of the box, but we really got to get in close to the figures to get a good look at what's going on. So we'll go ahead and start with Elita-1 first, because she has basically been built from the ground up with almost entirely new articulation system here. I know a lot of you guys have been looking forward to and waiting for female bots in the Galaxy version line, and I understand why it took Blokees a while because this is very different. So first of all, aesthetics, she looks really, really good. Blokees use basically the same plastic as they did for the classic class, so it's this nice metallic pink. She has color separated eyes, which looks great. The whole head looks really good to me. I really just can't find anything to complain about. Plenty of color separation on like the forearms and whatnot. She has nice amounts of print on the chest paired with just some color separation as well. I have to say though, my biggest complaint, I want to get that out of the way, if she doesn't have one of her accessories, the back looks really bad. It looks bad. It's just all the Transformers 1 branding and the Hasbro copyright and whatnot. It's just not hidden. So that is kind of a bummer to me. Articulation. So her head is technically double jointed, but one of the joints, the one at the very base, is clamped static by her torso armor. So she can get up to about there, down to about there. She gets a little bit of tilt side to side, full swivel, ab joint, back to about there, forward to about there, and also side to side. For the shoulders, you can get out to straight because of the hinge that the shoulder armor has. This is really good, very seamless, looks really good. I hope that they continue to do this sort of thing. Elbow bend, just a single joint as usual, gets about 90. The hand is just a ball joint as usual. It looks very much like a Lego hand. This is a new piece, but she can get movement all around. Hips can go out into a full split, forward to there, backwards to about there. There is a thigh swivel, which is a very tight thigh swivel, and it's rather difficult to use without popping her leg off or popping her knee off, as you just saw. Double jointed knee. This is using basically the same system as Marvel figures use. And then the knee pad is on a bit of a joint itself. Ankle gets forward about that far, backward about that far. Not a ton of tilt without rotation. There's not a ton more that I would ask for with the articulation. I feel like it's pretty satisfactory. You can get plenty of poses. So for her accessories, she comes with the Cybertronian deer. This is 2 pieces. The instructions actually tell you how to build it, but mine came pre-assembled. I don't know if all of them will come that way. But this looks really good. It's just in one color, but the amount of molded detail on here is absolutely fantastic. And it's such a great accessory. It's so, I guess, valuable to have for displays, for photography. It's great. And she comes with her jetpack. This is the accessory that I was talking about. So you can just peg this onto her back. Now she's got her minor jetpack on. You can see a little bit of the branding there still, but not as bad. But yeah, that's just a bummer to me. That's the biggest bummer, is how exposed the printing is on her back. Other than that, that's great. She does not come with any alternate hands. Next up, we have Cogless D16. This guy was one that was kind of like, did they need to include him? But they did a really good job. The chest has a ton of detail, so much print. It looks fantastic. He also has some print on the lower legs, and he's got the Megatron Prime decal on his shoulder. The face looks pretty good. I don't really have any complaints there. Maybe could be a little wider, but the eyes are color separated, so no misprints possible there. Just looks really good. Detail around the back is also pretty good. No print work, but it's there. This guy does come with the forearms that have the hole mounted on the underside. For articulation, he has a double jointed neck using the Marvel system, so he can get up to there, down to there, side to side, a full swivel. Now the torso is where things get a bit different. This is entirely new torso, so we have extra articulation here. So from the get-go, you can rock from side to side, but then you can pull and extend the torso up to get an ab crunch that far forward, that far back, and more side to side. That adds a ton of posing options. Legs that far forward, that far back, knee bend, ankle forward, a little bit limited, back, pretty darn good. Tilt from side to side is also pretty darn good. Arm goes out to the side, perfectly fine, nothing gets in the way. Swivel at the elbow as usual, and a bend, and then the ball jointed wrist. For accessories, D16 comes with the jetpack, so you can just peg that on like that. And yes, you can use it for Orion if you want to. He also comes with a blaster that's pretty generic. We got this in some of the other ones. It could be a mining tool, it could be a blaster. It can be really either, whichever one you want it to be. Overall, really nice figure. I'm surprised how good he is for a figure that feels a little redundant. And the articulation, what you saw will basically be standard for the rest of the figures. We will cover the other ones in a little bit more quick fashion, but I just wanted to give you a full rundown of what the new system in general will look like. Alpha Trion is another one that I know has gotten people really excited. This guy has a ton going on. So he's got a brand new head mold. It's very small. Like, I thought it was going to be bigger, but it kind of makes sense proportion-wise. It's not attached the normal way. He is very hunched over, so it's kind of attached from the front. He's got a lot of print going on. Print on the lower legs, print on the chest, print for the head. It's not color separated. And he's got some print on the shoulders as well as some on the back. That looks really, really good. Colors, pretty good too. I would have liked the print, at least the pink on the head, to be a little bit richer. I think it feels a little bit thin. This guy is using the new articulation, so he will be getting that ab crunch. His head is the major difference here because it's hunched. You know, you can get side to side, you can get up a little bit, you can get down a little bit. It is technically a double ball joint, but it's not very long, so you're not going to get a ton of mileage out of it. And the shoulders just act like usual because Blokees allows these things to move, and it looks really good. Aside from the standard extra hands, he comes with 2 fists and 2 open hands. That's pretty much how all of these come with, except for Elita. He also comes with a sword. So this sword is molded in blue and painted with some gray. You need to pull off the tail part to be able to fit it in his hand. So that just pegs in like that. And then we pop that back on. Be careful, that is a thin peg. But now he's got a sword. That looks really cool. The clear plastic with the gray is a great effect. Nice molding. I think that's a fantastic accessory. Cogged Orion Pax. I initially was like, yeah, we didn't need this guy. We got the Cogless one, we got Optimus, that's all we really need, right? Well, Because of the new articulation, this guy is actually now one of my favorites from this line. He just looks really good. It makes me really want them to do Optimus with the new joints. Somebody in my chat while I was doing the live build suggested that maybe they'll do a Transformers 1 Shining version to do an Optimus with the new system. I would love that. I think that would be great because now this guy is better than Optimus with his new articulation. I think the orange and yellow bits on Orion's chest could have been printed with a little bit more vibrance. It kind of fades a little bit into the red. It needed just like 1 or 2 more layers, in my opinion. He has that same kind of metallic-y, slightly bronzed color for the silver bits. He's got a very well done head. I think the head is done even better than the Cogless version. I think the Cogless version looked a little strange in the expression. This one looks much more like the Pax that we know. The legs also both bug me and make me very happy because there's plenty of print and there's a little silver box on the side. Optimus has less detail than that, and that's a little bit of a bummer to me. He's got some detail around the back. Overall, he's just a very solid looking figure and he's really fun to pose. Aside from the extra hands, Pax includes 2 accessories, one of which is a yellow matrix of leadership, which is very bright and somewhat toyish looking, but the little blueprint on there is really good. You can actually make him hold it. This pegs into his open hand, so he can hold it like that. That's really cool. It is a bit oversized though, but hey, it looks cool. And then he comes with the mining tool that he used for some of the battle during when they were fighting Sentinel and his dudes. He can hold it, and then it also pegs into his forearm because he has the forearms that have the peg hole on the side, not on the bottom. That looks really good. I think it could do with a wash, but this thing spins, and I don't know, with the upgraded articulation, it just is a lot of fun to mess with this guy using this giant freaking mining tool. I think it's great. Cogged Bumblebee. No, I'm not saying the joke name. We don't say that sort of stuff on this channel. This is another figure that I was like, I don't know about that. But with the upgraded articulation, he's really fun. So we got Cogless B last Transformers 1 wave. Now we have Cogged B. I would have preferred them to do some metallic color, but the yellow does work. He has the arms that have the pegs on the outside, which will be very important as we will see shortly. And you may notice he has his battle mask face. You actually get the parts to build either his normal face or his battle mask face. I chose to go with the battle mask face because I think that looks cooler. Maybe that's just me, but I think that just makes him stand out a bit more from the Cogless version. He's got print on the chest and waist unit, which is really nice. The lower legs are all color separated, which is also really, really cool. Color separation, in my opinion, is always a win. Print on the shoulders, and then around the back is more color separation, which is amazing. He has different feet. We won't focus on this too long since we've covered most of the articulation for all the figures, but he does have more movement, especially from side to side and to the back than the last version of B did. So that's really good. But now, accessories. So you get the hands, of course, but if you remove one of the hands, you can add his little gun hand that pegs on just like an actual hand. These pieces are slightly poseable, so they are a little easier to pop off as a result, but it allows us to clamp around his forearm very nicely. It doesn't really affect his articulation too much. It's a very stubby Mega Man looking gun. I think it looks really cool. I would have liked to see them add some way to put a blast effect on it since they've done so many good blast effects. And then we get a knife hand, of course. I think it's a little long perhaps, but I think it looks really good longer like this, so I am not opposed. It's molded in this clear blue with some nice detail on it. This piece kind of clips on top of it. You don't get 2, unfortunately. That is the big gripe that I've heard because, you know, he had 2. He was running around with 2, but instead we got the gun hand and a knife. I am personally fine with that, but he did have 2 a lot in the movie, so I can understand if there's some frustrations regarding that. Now we're really into the Decepticons end of things, and this is Cogged D16, well, Megatron version of Cogged D16. And holy moly, Blokees did such a good job here. I think this guy in some ways looks better than the classic version, particularly in the head. I feel like this guy's head is more proportioned according to the movie. Maybe that's just me, but I feel like there's just They did something to this one, and it looks better. Color separated eyes as usual. There's a ton of print going on for the chest. Also some color separation. Print on the shoulders, which is really good. He has like no detail on the lower half of him. And they did the lower arms in this silver color, but the upper legs in this gray. I don't think that looks very good. That's a very jarring change of color, in my opinion. You go from the metallic to the flat. I don't think that's good. I would have liked to see the silver continue. Around the back, plenty of molded detail. The gun is built out of 3 parts, so then that pegs onto his forearm. And then we've got the other one here. Now, when you're building this guy, you need to be aware of something. The shoulder should be built like this. You're actually going to be attaching it to the body according to the shoulder armor, not the lower arm. So when you build it, you should face the peg on, or the peg hole on the red part away, and then pop it on with this piece here. I saw people building it and they were popping it on so his shoulder stuck up really high. That's not correct. If you built it that way, you need to take the shoulder apart and rebuild it. There is a rare version of this guy that comes with a special color for his gun, an extra detail, and he's more shiny. I did not pull that one, but here's what he looks like. And then in terms of accessories, this guy really does not come with much other than extra hands. He just comes with a little 2-piece cog. No detail on it. It's just a cog, and you could just set it in an open hand. That's about it. It's a nice little accessory, but it's a little hard to use since he can't actually like hold it. Logically, we must move on to Shockwave. I know this is one of the ones that people have been very excited for. This is one of the ones that we were shown as a prototype, and here he is, and holy moly, he looks good. They used the metallic purple for him, which is, oh, it just looks so good. It looks so good. Chest has a bunch of print on it, and a color-separated clear piece. It's not the same silver for the chest print as we saw on the classic class version, but it still looks really good. His face looks really good. At first, I was not sold on it. I thought it looked too chubby, but having it in person, I'm actually pretty okay with it. You get print on the shoulders and print on the lower legs. And then, of course, he's got his gun arm. Now, an interesting thing to note, this guy really does not come with accessories aside from extra hands, but he actually comes with an extra arm. So you can build him without the gun arm. And I accidentally did that. And I would not recommend doing that because once you plug one of these joints into the forearm, it is very hard to get back out. So it was a bit of a struggle to pull this off so I could put the gun on. The gun itself looks really good. It's color separated, of course, and has a ton of detail. I'll talk a bit more about this later, but the connection for it is a little bit rattly, so it kind of feels like it's going to fall off. It's not going to fall off, but it does come off easier than I would like. Also, it does not limit his articulation very much. His head articulation is also not limited by how flat his head is. Starscream was one of the more complicated builds here, so you really have to pay attention. I actually built the wings wrong as I was building, so definitely pay attention. Chest is made up of a bunch of different pieces, color separation, print on the shoulders, print on the lower legs. There's even some print on the wings. That's really good. His face looks pretty good. I feel like it's a little narrow. Maybe that's just me, but I think it looks a little narrow. Other than that, he looks really good. And his articulation is not really inhibited too much because this front little cockpit piece is actually on a bit of a hinge itself, so that can get out of the way. He's got ball joints for the guns there. The wings can hinge. It's pretty darn good looking. He also really doesn't come with any accessories aside from the extra hands, but does Starscream really need that many accessories? I don't think he does. The shoulders definitely are the most limiting part. Because they stick up so high, they will kind of bump, especially bump into his chest piece. So just be careful as you're posing him. He will be more limited than the others. You can move the wings, which does allow for more. But yeah, I think it's just expect him to be a little bit more fiddly in the shoulders. And our final figure, and one of my favorites from this wave, we have Soundwave. And he is somewhat different than the classic class version because they chose to go with white instead of silver. I'm not really opposed to that. I think it looks pretty good. It adds some nice variation. and man, does he have a lot of detail. Blokees did not hold back here. So the forearm is actually printed on 2 sides. I think that looks great. He's got print for his little speaker shoulders. He's got very, very nice color separation for the head. That head's like 5 parts. And there's also color separation on his gun. The chest is printed up really well, and then inside you have more of that detail. No cassettes, but he didn't really have cassettes in the movie. And then he's got print on his lower legs. Of course, he has the new articulation, so he can do a lot of stuff. There is plenty of fun to be had here posing this guy. But there is one issue that really encompasses all the figures that I'll talk about in a minute. Now, I will say, the blue for the plastic, in some places, the texture is a little weird, which makes me a little worried in terms of quality, because it reminds me of lower quality plastic that I've seen. Now, I don't see any other reason to think that it is lower quality plastic, but Blokees, please do not start using lower quality plastic in order to just make waves really, really fast, because we want high quality stuff as well as product. So if you have to slow down and keep up the high quality, please do. So my big major complaint with this wave is the looseness of the joints. This is something I've complained about with Blokees figures from the beginning, and some of them are better, some of them are worse, but I feel like the tolerances on this wave in particular have not been great. So like these legs, these are very loose. This one even more so, to the point where like I'll be posing him sometimes and he'll start to just slowly slide into a split because that's so loose, and that's just not great. Orion has the same problem. His leg is just, it just kind of flops a bit. Also, this guy's not too bad in terms of rotation. I think it was B. Yeah, B is, his rotation here is like really, really bad. It's just not very tight. The shoulders, for the most part, are okay, but there are loose shoulders, and it's a bit more difficult to tighten the shoulders, because if you put too much glue, then you just won't peg back together properly. So I would like to see in future waves the tolerances be a bit more precise so that these figures aren't so floppy, because it's very frustrating to try to pose him and then, like, you know, you set him down and he just kind of falls over because this is just so loose. Kids probably won't care as much, but older collectors, especially toy photographers, will care, because like, yeah, if I'm trying to hold him and he's just kind of doing that, that's just not cool. And there you have it. That is Blokees Galaxy version 07, aka Transformers 1 Wave 2. This is a really good wave. The upgrades in articulation are massive, which means going forward, we are going to have so many more posing options with future waves. I love that. The character roster here is pretty good. We're still missing some major names and versions. We need a Cogged Elita, we need Arachnid, we kind of need some Cogged other bots like Jazz. We could use a Cogged Jazz or an uncogged Jazz, maybe Cogged Ironhide, maybe Megatron Prime, maybe Darkwing. So I could see them doing a Wave 3, we'll see. But overall, I'm pretty happy with the end selection here. I really love Shockwave, I really love Soundwave, and Orion. Those 3 are probably my favorites here. Shockwave and Soundwave look so good. They look so good. So if you want to get these guys, I will have a link down in the description and the pinned comment to the Blokees site. I know some of you guys live in countries that they don't ship to yet. There are ways to get them imported. Just keep in mind that if you buy it from a third-party seller, you won't necessarily get customer support the way you would if you bought directly from Blokees. AliExpress is a good place to look, sometimes on eBay as well. So I'll put a few links if I find some good ones. Overall, very happy with this wave, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what else they cook up in the future. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and consider subscribing, and I'll see you next time.